Hello, I'm Dinesh D'Souza, and I'm going to be talking from a couple of chapters of my new book, The Roots of Obama's Rage. The theme of the book is that Barack Obama is his father's son. Obama's own book is called Dreams from My Father. He got his dreams, his vision, his values, his identity from his father. And his father was an anti-colonialist, basically in opposition to the great power of the West, the power of America, and the power within America of powerful corporations and elites, the group Obama calls the rich. And so the idea is that these groups, these plutocratic elites, we got to bring them down, and we've got to curb the power of America in the world. Now, very recently, the head of NASA, the space agency, made a very strange statement. He said, from now on, the mission of NASA is going to be to build relations with the Muslim world. And he added, we also want to do joint projects with the Chinese and the Russians. Now, Charles Bolden, the head of NASA, he said, it's not my idea, it's Obama's idea. The president told me that this should be the focus of NASA. And a lot of people were baffled, not just Obama's critics. The astronaut Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, John Glenn, Democratic senator, they said, what's Obama doing here? Isn't NASA all about going to Mars and exploring faraway destinations? How has it become a Muslim outreach program? Now, no other theory can explain Obama's behavior, but I want to suggest that the anti-colonial theory explains it extremely well. And I'll give a little example of what I mean. When I was a young boy growing up in India, I remember my grandfather telling me that America and Russia were involved in a big race to put a man on the moon. And in 1969 it happened. Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and you remember Neil Armstrong said, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And I remember it was my grandfather or maybe my dad snorting and saying, no, it's one giant leap for the United States. And the reason they said that is they said, look, is Neil Armstrong putting the UN flag on the moon? No, it's the American flag. The Americans are saying, this is ours, we own the moon. So in a sense, for many of us growing up in the third world, this was seen as space colonization. It's not enough to run the planet, you now have to go to space and take the place over. So if Obama shares that view, which was very much my view and the view of many people in that part of the world, then you can see why Obama says, I don't want the space program to be a symbol of American greatness. I don't want America to be taking over the planets. No, this has to be a human, a shared endeavor. Let's bring the Muslims along. 800 years ago, they had some good discoveries. Let's make this an outreach program. So the anti-colonial theory, if you plug it in, suddenly this bizarre behavior by the president is explicable. It makes sense. Remove the theory and you can't explain it. You can't. Obama's a socialist, so what? Why would a socialist want to change the mission of NASA? So the beauty of the anti-colonial theory is not only its power to explain the big policies, but its power to explain the little stuff. So now let's turn to a couple of the bigger policies. From the anti-colonial point of view, America is currently occupying two countries, Iraq and Afghanistan. Obama's goal is to get us out of both. Now recently there was a controversy involving General Stanley McChrystal, America's top general in Afghanistan. Let's follow this controversy for a minute, because McChrystal was fired by Obama, and I think rightly so, because he made some very insulting and insubordinate comments. He's working for Obama, you shouldn't do that to the commander-in-chief. I agree. But what's interesting is what McChrystal and his aides told Rolling Stone magazine in this interview. What they told Rolling Stone magazine, first of all, is they said, we went to Obama and Biden, the vice president, and we were laying out our vision for how we can win in Afghanistan, the counterinsurgency strategy. They said Biden is a buffoon. He had his own dumb ideas, and if we followed them, this would become chaosistan. So Biden was a lightweight, and they wrote him off. But they said Obama is not a lightweight. Obama, however, was bored. He was uninterested. He didn't care. He didn't want to even hear it. Now, think about this. Why would a president not care about his own top general's strategy to win in Afghanistan? I offer a possible answer. Obama does not want to win in Afghanistan. Obama wants to get the American troops out. That is his definition of success. So now consider Obama's predicament. Obama had campaigned against Bush by saying there's a good war and a bad war. Iraq is the bad war, Afghanistan is the good war. So he was stuck with Afghanistan. This is his war. And his general is now coming into the Oval Office and saying, I know how to win. Here's the formula. But Obama doesn't want to win. So he's got to figure out a way to, in a sense, give in to his general a little bit, but make sure that there's no victory. So what Obama says to McChrystal is, I'll give you some of the troops you wanted, but at the same time, I'm going to declare that America's going to get out in a year. This is not a formula for success. It's a formula for failure. And from the anti-colonial point of view, failure in Afghanistan is a definition of success.